Dear Michael, I'd be delighted to accept your invitation for dinner in town tonight. Make sure you're properly dressed. See you at 8, Dorothea. Of course I'll be properly dressed. Come think of it, I think I'll make a day of it. I haven't been to town for a while. Now, where shall I go first?
Into the clean air and sweet sunshine at Golders Green, out of the dull and smoky city by Underground. During the 1920s and 30s, the London Underground produced hundreds of posters advertising their rapidly expanding services. These are now a visual record of life in London between the wars, but a London which never quite existed except in the imagination of the poster artists and the public they courted. It was thanks to Frank Pick, the chief executive of the Underground, that so many high-quality posters were produced. Over a period of 30 years, he became the greatest patron the art of the travel poster has ever had. What's the time? 10 o'clock. 4 o'clock. Come shopping by Underground. Oh, excuse me, miss.
London Transport was very much seen as being at the heart of London and the development of London in the 20s and 30s, so that you have the two sides of it. You have them literally at the heart of London, say with the full redevelopment of Piccadilly Circus Station architecturally in the 1920s, but they're also encouraging people to move out to the newly developing suburbs. And of course it's in the 1920s and 30s that London is growing faster than ever before in these suburban areas. They needed to persuade people to use the system at every possible time, and therefore the poster campaign was to persuade people of all the delights of London and its countryside, which could be appreciated if only you use our system, and it was very successful at doing that. In many ways, the 1930s was the heyday of London Transport. It had enormous influence on the whole face of London at that time. I think Pick saw it very much as enriching the whole experience of living in the city. And in that sense, London Transport assumes this central, almost mystical place for him in the life of the country. That London Transport is at the heart of civilized urban society and can offer all these services to the public. Pick was not constrained by any one organisation representing London that felt London had to be shown in a certain light. And so, particularly after the First World War, you suddenly get this enormous flowering of styles in underground posters, some of which are quite traditional pictorial representations of the countryside you can get to outside London, but others which are very much influenced by new fine art styles that had come into vogue on the continent. And these are interpreted into a popularly acceptable style of commercial art. So for the first time, some of these popular forms like Cubism and other developments like Futurism, which is concentrating very much on the dynamism of modern life and machines and speed, which is all very appropriate to travel, suddenly start appearing on underground stations and bus shelters all over London. And you get, almost by default, the creation of the everyday person's art gallery in the street. And they then come to accept and appreciate these art forms which they would never have gone to look at in an art gallery. An example of someone who did some astonishing work, who's not well known today, is Fred Herrick. There's a particular series he did which were all posted up together, which were based around the senses, and they were all to do with touching the senses of London, smelling London, experiencing London in these various ways, and each of them has an image associated with that particular sense, and within the image you see an interpretation of the underground symbol, which is at the heart of the Underground's corporate identity they developed and everyone recognised instantly, the bar and circle device. But Herrick transforms this in these posters into various other features within the poster. So that in one of them it becomes a woman's earring, in another one it's disassembled into a spoon, so that the bar and the circle are split up and then become a spoon in the tasting one. In another, where it's seeing London, it's split into a pair of binoculars. And this is something that a number of artists did using the underground symbol. If you can look at a number of the posters during the 20s and 30s and see the way in which the London transport symbol, which everything focused in on that one symbol that meant London security and getting you where you wanted to go, that the artists were all promoting.
These posters are now all that remains of a lost world, a glimpse of a city that never quite lived up to the ideal, but which, thanks to Frank Pick, you could dream of while travelling underground. What's the time? 7 o'clock. You'll be late. Dinner with Dorothea? I'd almost forgotten. Hello, Dorothea.